Hey everyone, Catch 'em All Collectibles here. In today's video, I'm gonna do a little bit of a throwback. I created my YouTube a little over a year and a half ago, but I've been in the hobby for 8 years. I've mentioned it before, but a large part of the reason why I created the YouTube channel, a bit selfishly, was to kind of document my journey, a video journal of sorts that I could look back on. Before I had a YouTube, I did some crazy things in the hobby. I bought some crazy collections. I ripped some crazy boxes. Today's video is going to, per the thumbnail, per the title of the video, recap the prices I paid and the dates which I bought and opened every single box in the hobby. Behind me, I was going to do a stack, shelf to ceiling if possible, but unfortunately the new style boxes, hopefully I don't tip the whole tower over. The way that these ones open, they don't stack as nicely. The WotC ones at the bottom, you can see they like stack really nicely. We end WotC here at Sky Ridge. Actually, through the EX era, when did the box switch over? So the box switched over Diamond and Pearl era. So through the old school EX era, where we ended with EX Power Keepers here, we switched over to a box type that doesn't lend itself well to stacking. So unfortunately, I only have the first 48 sets here. I promise you, between the years of 2015 and 2017, I bought and opened every set that I've missed. Every set as they come out, I get through wholesale distribution. I'm continuing to buy and open every box, at least one box of each. One of my early goals in the hobby, and you know the way I do things, I've got a nice spreadsheet to just recap it. Little kind of a fun video, not really that informative, or just yeah, talking about one of the biggest goals I ever had in the hobby and how I checked it off. So anyways, left column, you will see the set. You will see in the middle the most recent sale price. This is all as of October 31st that I put this together. October 30th. I put it together on the 29th for the 30th. I did a presentation, a little bit of self-promotion, the Pokenomics Patreon that I'm a part of, linked below. If you want to go in deep, not only did I show what I paid for every box and what it most recently sold for, I also did historical box sale prices all the way back to 2000 where the data was available. Down at the bottom here, let me show quickly. The sources that I used were WorthPoint, the Elite Forum, the Wayback Machine, looking at different websites like Blowout Cards, David Adams Card World, Troll and Toad, Hills Wholesale Gaming. I used eBay, TCG, Player, Heritage, and Golden completed listings. And then I also used my own personal buys. So hidden here in columns C through A, B, there are 20 years of historical box prices, the most comprehensive price guide I've ever seen for historical prices. Not completely filled in. I wasn't able to find a price for every box for every year, but I've never seen a source more complete. That is behind the Patreon paywall, but it did take a lot of time to put together. No worries if you don't want to go there and check it out, but the link is below. If something like that and our backlog of videos, our backlog of spreadsheets, $10 a month gets you access to that. You get everything we've done up to today, the whole backlog. No pressure though. Feel free to hang out here if you just want to get the free bit that I'm putting in this video. So yeah, starting with base set unlimited, you can see my face is kind of covering the date, and the last column AG is actually for let me just remove myself quickly if I click the right one. So the last column AG is for the, I put percent, but the multiplier is more apt. So you can see in March of 2015, I bought a base set unlimited box for $700. What the last column means is how many times has that box gone up since I bought and opened it. One thing, it's a little bit painful looking back at these prices in some ways, because like, had I bought two of every box and opened one and kept one sealed, I clearly would have been doing very well. You'll see when we get to the bottom what the total amount I paid to open every box was years ago and what the total value is today if you were to have an entire sealed collection. Some people do. Some people out there do. So anyways, yeah. I did buy and open a complete, it was a 35 pack shadowless box years ago. I couldn't find the record of it. I remember it was a straight PayPal deal, but I'll have to find that at some point. I think I paid $2,500 maybe, for 35 packs guaranteed shadowless. One person opened the box, opened one pack to verify. So I did open like 12 heavy hollow packs from shadowless. I will make a disclaimer. I did not open 36 packs of all these boxes. What I did was I was also putting together an art set collection of every box as I went through. And I was keeping a light art set for myself. There were many other art set collectors. Some of them I was funding them. I might have sold a couple art sets to Nick over the years. So yeah, I was weighing out the 12 heavies, opening mostly the 12 heavies, sometimes up to 16 or 18 packs, maybe half the box, but all the heavies. And then selling the light art sets, grading some art sets just to lose less money, because most of these things today would be completely negative EV. Even back then, many were negative EV. But anyways, continuing on through, yeah, base set first edition is the one English box that eludes me. The one English box that I never opened. It is a variant. I mean, I opened first edition. I technically didn't open unlimited for all the WotC sets. I just opened the first edition counterpart. So for these Neo sets, or the gym sets, the Jungle, Fossil, Rocket, those were all first edition only. I didn't open unlimited for all the boxes. But yeah, going down through, you can see some of the astronomical prices that these are reaching. Neo Destiny, $40,000. I paid $3,100 when I opened mine. I remember specifically, that was the most expensive box I bought and opened. And I mean, as of today, it's one of the most expensive boxes still. But out of all the boxes that I bought and opened, Neo Destiny with Legendary Collection there, a close second. I paid $3,000 to buy and open that. Crazy to look back on what these boxes have done. And it's interesting to see, like, some of the more expensive boxes, Neo Destiny and Legendary Collection, they've 12x, 13x. And you can see I bought and opened those ones in 2017, whereas I bought and opened Neo Genesis in 2015. So it's not necessarily a fair price comparison to say Neo Genesis 52x, whereas Neo Destiny and Legendary Collection 12x, 13x. If you subscribe to the Patreon, if you get the full spreadsheet, you can see more year by year what multiples they increased by, what percentages they increased by year over year. But anyways, continuing on through, the EX era has done crazy things the past few years. So many of these boxes have ballooned in price. Not only that, they're very hard to come by. Like, frequently, you can go on eBay and you can see base set unlimited being sold. You can see Jungle, Fossil. They went to astronomical heights in 2020, but they've always been there being sold. Over the multi-year period that I had this as my goal to open one of every box, I distinctly remember the EX era boxes being so hard to find. A lot of these that I bought, you can see some oddball numbers. A lot of these were by auctions from one or two individuals who had a complete box collection that they just sold off all at once on eBay. I still remember some of the usernames. Some of them I still save and I still follow just in case someday maybe they like stumble upon some more. And so I don't want to spill the beans on those, but yeah, there's some usernames that stand out that I was really hitting up, all their auctions and crazy years ago picking up. I mean, one of the standouts too that I wanted to make sure I mentioned, EX Team Rocket Returns. I paid $550. Beautiful set, beautiful EXs. It's got the low pop, the Torchic, the Mudkip, the Trico that a lot of people are after, the Torchic specifically. That box 71x'd since I bought and opened it. That's the most drastic multiplier of any box that I've opened, any box from the price that I paid. Again, not that that box grew more or stronger than any other box, but you can see like EX Deoxys, they're right in the same vicinity for what they're worth, both high 30s. I just paid a fair bit more at the time. I actually bought them only a couple months apart. You can see I bought one in June of 2015 and the other in September of 2015. But that really dampened the multiplier for Deoxys just because I paid that much more for it. EX Hold-On Phantoms, standout box. That was the box that completed the entire endeavor for me. So obviously, in December of 2017, I bought that box for $1,500 and I completed all sets through that day, through that month. More sets have come out since, and I've been opening those. So every time a new set comes out, I recomplete the goal. But this was the one that made me complete it for the first time at the time. Anyone who plays RuneScape, old school RuneScape, it's almost like the quest cape. You get the quest cape once. Anytime a new quest cape comes out, or anytime a new quest comes out, you have to do the new quest to like be able to wear your quest cape again. So every time a new set get released, I open a new box so that I get that quest cape to put back on me. People who don't know what I'm talking about will be like, I don't know what any of that means, but it's yeah, if you know RuneScape, you'll know what I'm talking about. Continuing on, EX Dragon Frontiers was another really expensive one. I opened that about a year prior to the Hold On Phantoms one, and I paid nearly the same price. One thing I intend to do too, more for my own benefit, let me know in the comments if this kind of interesting, kind of a time capsule thing, kind of a catch 'em all collectibles origin story. I know today I'm a business, I'm a full timer, I take money out of the hobby. Part of what I hope this shows is like I have origins. Look behind me. I have origins. This was not a profitable endeavor. I have origins of a collector nature. I used to be a collector before I've seen too much and before I was taking money out of the hobby. So if you have interest in seeing more of these like origin stories, catch 'em all collectibles archives videos, let me know in the comments below. One thing I intend to do for my own benefit, and I'll make a video out of it if anyone has interest. What cards did I pull from each of these boxes? Because it would be very easy for me to go back and reconstruct it. All the hollows, all the hits were always PSA graded. So when I look at EX Hold On Phantoms, 12/14, 2017, I can go to my PSA account and I can see what I submitted. What 12 cards from Hold On Phantoms did I submit? Spoiler, it wasn't any gold star from Hold On Phantoms specifically, but I did pull some gold stars. I did pull some shinings. I did pull some banger cards from all these boxes that I opened. Old Skool EXs, crystal cards. If you'd have interest seeing that in a video, let me know, because that's going to take me quite a while to put together. I'll probably make a video out of it, whether you want to see it or not. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Diamond and Pearl era sets, really, really interesting. They're having like a renaissance of sorts. So many people are so into them. Look at what these box prices are doing. Several $1,000s, none have eclipsed like the $10,000 price point yet, as far as I'm aware. I mean, I could have missed a sale point. If anyone wants to point out, like, there could have been a box that sold since I recorded this video. I just missed it. It went on Heritage, it went on Golden, it went on eBay. It was a private sale. I'm obviously not privy to every sale, and I could have made an error compiling this data, but these are the most recent sale prices I've gotten. And some of these have retracted. More notably, the WotC packs, the WotC boxes have retracted more from the bubble popping. A lot of the mid-era sets really haven't retracted nearly as much, if at all. They didn't increase quite as high of multiples, some of them, but they also haven't fallen any, or much, nearly as much, if at all. Some of the WotC boxes, again, if you see the whole spreadsheet, base set unlimited, it peaked in the 30s. It peaked in the mid-high 30s. That thing has come down 60%. I mean, it's actually up slightly. Some boxes went 10, 12,000 recently. So the most recent is slightly up from the bottom, the recent bottom that it's hit. But yeah, anyways, continuing on. I remember getting back into the hobby in late 2014, early 2015 timeframe. A lot of these, you can see I was picking up these Diamond and Pearl boxes a couple times retail, a couple times like a couple $100. These days, that's unheard of. We have Sword and Shield sets. We have Evolving Skies is going more 1 year out of print than these boxes were going for when I was picking them up several years out of print. Absolutely fascinating to look at the whole spreadsheet and see that. But even without seeing the whole spreadsheet, you can see the context of I was buying these boxes that were years out of print at sub $250, sub Evolving Skies prices today. So fascinating to see the historical box prices pegged to the date that I bought them on. Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver. It was so much fun opening those, opening primes, opening legends. The cards that you don't really see talked about, the cards that you don't really see that much or hear talked about frequently. Heart Gold and Soul Silver base was a little bit more expensive than the others. You can see $300. Call Legends at the time for $430. This 6,500 almost feels a little low. For some reason, I thought that box was closer to 10. But that could be the case. I mean, that's still, it's crazy to say. That's still a lot of money for a booster box of Pokemon cards. Black and white sets, all well above 1,000 today. Standout sets like Dark Explorers, Plasma Storm, Legendary Treasures. I was buying all those. At the time, I remember Dark Explorers was like, it was pricey. For me to spend $280, that was more than I spent on every box aside from Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Call Legends from that whole like mid-era, the whole Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver era. So Dark Explorers was a real stinger because it wasn't even that old. I mean, it obviously wasn't as old. I was picking it up in 2015. Not nearly as old as those Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver sets, but it was expensive. Every other XY era box, including Legendary Treasures. In 2015, I picked up Legendary Treasures at 1,000. And look at how much cheaper it was than these other boxes, and now it's surpassed most of them. It's right there neck and neck with Plasma Storm. but at the time that I bought it, it was fairly available. I came back into the hobby, so now we're at, once you see with Phantom Forces, every set from Phantom Forces on, I put $82.50 in as my price. When Phantom Forces released, that was my re-entry to the hobby. So I got distribution. I was able to buy every set from Phantom Forces on at wholesale distribution pricing. When I started, it was $82.50. Currently, I'm paying closer to $86.50. So for the remainder of the sets, you'll see 83, switching over to 87 just because of the rounding. But yeah, some of those early sets, when I got back in, I was able to buy XY for 120. Flashfire had already bumped up a little bit. Obviously, there's like several different Charizards in there. $160. A little bit of a sting there, buying a less than a year old box for such a high price over retail. As I say that today, Evolving Skies is $250, only a year out. Crazy to think. But yeah, every box thereafter, I was buying for wholesale. And even if I had not had wholesale distribution, I would have been able to buy every box for like $100 shipped on eBay until the boom, stonkage, all that stuff. If I'd gotten caught up in the hype and didn't have wholesale distribution, maybe I would have paid $120, $150 for some of these sets. But almost every set has been accessible at $100 or less historically in Pokemon's history. So yeah, it's crazy to see though. Furious Fist, $1,000 box. Flashfire, $2,700. XY base, $1,000. These, when I got back into the hobby, again, like looking at the time frame, when I got back into the hobby, boxes that were 5 and 6 years old were $150, $200. As of today, that's not a thing whatsoever. Like, look at all these boxes. Crimson Invasion is $173. Sun and Moon base is $218. But almost every box is hundreds of dollars. Had I got back into the hobby, like a large portion of luck goes into the fact that I was able to do this goal. That I would not have been able to do this had I got back in 2020, had I got back in today, because I would have looked back and I would have been like, oh, instead of saying, oh, I can buy a 6-year-old set for double retail, $150, $200, it's like I've got to pay what? I've got to pay $1,000 for Team Up that's only a few years old. I've got to pay $500 for Cosmic Eclipse that still could be in print, that's still in that 2-year window or just going out of that 2-year window. Absolutely crazy out there today. And at the end of the day, getting close to wrapping up this video as we approach 20 minutes, as we always do, $705,000 approximately for the most recent sale of every booster box totaled together. That's not low list on eBay. If you have 705 grand today as you watch this, you can't necessarily go out and buy every box for that because this is most recent sale. Some of these were auctions, some of these none are available. Like the most recent data point I have on EXT Axis was 36,000. One may or may not be available for that price. One may be available cheaper. I think I might have saw on Instagram someone might have one a little bit cheaper than that. I think I used the box break price that PokeRev used for that data point. He did $1,000 a pack. But yeah, some of these might be a little bit cheaper available on the market. Some of them might be a little more expensive. But in any case, if you were to go try to buy them today, you would expect to spend about $700,000. When I bought one of each box over a 2-year span between 2015 and 2017 as part of my goal on re-entering the hobby, including all the boxes recently that I've been picking up at wholesale, I spent $35,000, $35,290. And another thing that I didn't do, but I could reconstruct if anyone had the desire for me to, I lost money. Opening all these boxes behind me, like I lost less money selling light pack art sets, grading some packs, selling some pats. Most of these boxes were negative EV as they are today. Not nearly as negative EV, but they were negative EV. This was very much a passionate collector, love for the hobby endeavor. This cost me money to do this. One thing that I funded it with though, and I've talked about it many, many times, and maybe I'll do like a catch 'em all archive video on it. Jungle First Edition, Fossil First Edition especially, I was buying those boxes in mass. You can see the price that I paid. The price that I paid was for one of the boxes that I bought. I was buying Jungle at $450, Fossil at $400. I remember buying multiple of each, sub $400 as well. I probably showed my first data point or some random data point I found in my eBay, in my email that I was searching for each of these. But I probably bought 10 to 12 of each box, ripped them for profit. I would grade the light packs and sell the packs graded as I do today. and I would sell all the hollows. You'd hit a Fossil Lapras, you'd hit a Fossil Snorlax, you'd hit something like that, one of the better chase cards, you'd pay for the box in PSA 10 if you got lucky enough to grade a PSA 10. So a lot of this endeavor, spending $35,000 plus grading fees, I probably lost $10,000 to $15,000 doing it, but it was all funded by Jungle and Fossil first edition boxes for the most part. So yeah, different kind of a video today. Really interesting part of my history, part of my past in the hobby that those who didn't know me before YouTube may have known. If you followed my eBay for a long time, you probably would have seen all the hollows being sold, a lot of the chases being sold. A lot of the chases though did go into my collection. I had a goal at one point that I completed every Old Skool EX, every Gold Star, every Prime, Level X, Legend, every chase card, every PSA 9 WotC first edition hollow, PSA 9 in my collection. I had those all at one point. I've since sold a lot of them. The prices have gone crazy. But yeah, this is, let me know what you think in the comments. If you stuck around this long, you probably liked it, more likely than not. But yeah, if you want to see more videos, going back into my archives, talking about and showing where I've been as a collector before I turned into this big business, let me know. Hopefully this was interesting or useful in some way. Again, self-promotion, shameless self-promotion. Link below if you want to see the same spreadsheet, but with historical box prices going back to the year 2000. Really cool information. Took me several hours to put together. Jake and I rotate every other month. Every 3 months I do a presentation. He does one, and then we have a guest on to do a presentation. And usually the presentation takes several hours to put together. That's why we try to bring value. We feel that there's more value in some of that, so we put it behind the Patreon paywall. But again, no need to go there if you're not interested. If you are, the link's down below. With that, I think that's everything I've got. I will catch you all later.